We are diligently adding up. Well, that's a lie. Mike is diligently adding up all of your scores for the No Nonsense Challenge that we will be wrapping up in the next 24 hours. We're really excited. But before we get into any of that, again, we're going to announce it tomorrow. So make sure that you tune in. But there's a whole bunch of you that may not be tuning in. And it's not because it's Thanksgiving, it's because something else happened that Mike noticed. And I think it's best that you talk about what happened.
All right. Well, I can't take full credit for it. It was also Luke who was tallying the scores this morning, who made mention of the fact that in so many cases we were looking at the habits that people were supposed to be checking off each day. And in so many situations, we see 1 or 2 check marks on Monday and Tuesday, the very start of the challenge, and then nothing after that. Or you see 1 week that was like on fire, everything went well, maybe another 1 or 2 check marks the next week, and then nothing. And in so many of these scenarios, what we're realizing is that the moment some of you got hit with a little bit of adversity, the moment that you couldn't complete the task for that day, or maybe the next day, it was hands up in the air. This isn't the right time. I can't do this. And it was just full on quitting. And I know that comes off harsh, but I'm just going to call it like it is. Some of you quit, and you didn't quit on the contest. You quit on yourself. And we see this happen time and time again. And listen, I know that nobody means to do this. And we talk with so many people, especially when they get started in a lot of the programs, like this is a pattern. And this is a pattern that I think it would behoove us not to address, because it's something that we all need to break. And I think first comes with the realization that just because it's a difficult time doesn't mean everything has to go on the back burner. Maybe you can't keep up with all of the habits, but you can do a few. Because at the end of the day, this challenge was not about you competing against everybody else. It's you competing against you.
I think that's so true. You said so many valuable things in there. And I just want you right now, if you're feeling triggered or offended by some of what Mike shared, I just want you to take a breath and kind of check yourself and say, okay, why does that bother me? Or perhaps you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, he's totally dead on. Like, why am I agreeing with him? And I think it really is easy to paint which side of the fence you sit on. Because I know for me, so many times throughout the course of my life, I have started something and not finished it, done different programs and diets and you name it. And quite frankly, I think I finished, well, Pure Physique would be the only one that I stuck with, seriously. And it's so easy for us to quit. First and foremost, it is never a perfect time. It is never the perfect time to do anything because something is always going to come up. So whether you're like, oh yeah, this like next 2 weeks, it looks free and clear, I'm going to be amazing. Something's going to come up. How do you handle that thing that comes up is the more important part, because it's going to come up. You can't control that your dog breaks its leg. You can't control that you get a flat tire. You can't control that it rains on a Wednesday and you just don't want to go to the gym. You can't control everything in life. And so what do you do when those things do show up for you? Okay. So for me, I actually wasn't feeling great the first week of this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't get my 3 workouts a week in. In fact, for my workouts personally for this challenge, I only got 2 in a week. And so I don't get any points for the workouts, but did I stop drinking water? Did I stop sleeping? Did I stop keeping my sugar? Like, no, it was like, okay, I got to focus on the other habits. And I was actually kind of excited to still be up. I'm not at the top, like this guy sitting to my right, but it still enabled me to keep up the other habits. But it was the realization that, okay, if I can't do this one, or I mess up this day, or I screw up this meal, it doesn't negate the entire thing. Like, are you really that all or nothing? And I'm pointing at you with 3 fingers pointing back at me, because I was that all or nothing. And I realized it was not serving me. It was never going to get me where I wanted to be. And I would just continue to fail and fall on my face again and again and again and again. And honestly, I was sick of it. So,
well, something you said made me think about, we're going to take this in just a slightly different direction for a moment. We didn't discuss this, but you talking about all the times that you've tried something and maybe didn't, you failed at it or didn't do as well as you thought. And even though, you can point to me and say, hey, Mike, you hit everything during this challenge. Great. But where I've screwed up in this place is been in business. And the way this works is very simple. When something's not going your way, you get the oh shiny syndrome. So I did a few days, it's not working for me, so I'm just going to stop and go look for something else. instead of examining that thing and, just digging in a little bit harder, because oftentimes, and I think we've pounded this home for so many of you, it's not the big thing. It's not the brand new diet. It's not the brand new the different type of workout. It's not adding in more cardio. It's doing these little things and just doing them repeatedly. And you might not do it 7 consecutive days. You may only do it 5 and then 2 off, and then you do string together 7, and then it's going to be 4. But the more consistent you get with it, and the more you do that over time, the greater chances you have for success. And I think that, for us within Pure Physique, it was only when I started stopping to look at all the shiny objects and what else could we do, what else should we try, and just honed in on, hey, these are the things that we do really good. Let's just keep doing those things over and over and over again instead of looking for something new.
I think that's a mic drop on that point. I mean, it's true. I think the biggest thing that we all have to do is look inside ourselves and see, where have these patterns shown up before? Because if you gave up, this is not the first challenge you gave up on. It's not the first thing that you didn't finish. Chances are it's a pattern in your life. And so when you go back and you actually look at that and you examine, why do I do that? For me, I think it was a fear of failure. I was so afraid that it wouldn't work that I gave up. I also thought it was a need to be perfect, right? Like if I wasn't totally perfect in every little thing, screw it. I might as well not do it at all. And those two things for me became glaringly obvious. And I was like, okay, both of those are BS, right? Both of those are a belief system that I no longer want to use or abide by in my life. And it enabled me to push through to a bodybuilding contest. Listen, you may be sitting there being like, I don't want to compete in a bodybuilding contest. Cool. You don't have to compete in a bodybuilding contest. But for me, it was the first time with my body that I actually did something and stuck with it until the goal. And it was that break in that habit. Nobody did it for me, right? Mike was not force feeding me. Mike was not guilting me to come to the gym or saying, you need to get to the gym. Like I did it for me. And so for you, it's finding that why, that thing that motivates you enough to finish it. Because once I broke that curse, I'm going to even say it's like a cycle, habit, pattern, whatever you want to call it. I broke it. I was able to do it again. And if I can do it, you can do it. If I was able to break it, so can you. So what is it going to take for you this next challenge that we have coming up December 1st? Okay, you get to have your Thanksgiving, December 1st to the 22nd. It is 21 short days. It's 3 days less than this challenge, so you can do it. What is it going to take for you to actually complete next month's challenge? And if you're not already in it, well, just drop challenge and we'll know to reach out to you. But what is it going to take for you to complete it and see it all the way through?
It's a great reset button, for those of you, and this goes for those on each end of the spectrum. For those of you who are on the end of the spectrum that said, I really feel like I didn't do well, I can do better, I want to step it up, great. Hit the reset button. Let's begin on December 1st. For those of you who are like, I killed it in this challenge. Well, listen, just like a good coach always does at halftime, when you go back out, the score is 0-0. Doesn't matter if you were winning in the first half. What matters is what you do. You want to carry that momentum. So go into it with the mentality that, hey, I'm starting over. You don't carry the points over from the last challenge, right? It's a new beginning. So all of us get to hit that reset button, which I think is valuable for everyone.
Awesome. We will see you. What time? What time tomorrow?
Ooh, we did not decide this. I mean, I don't know. Like we've got some traveling to do tomorrow, but I figure pretty early, like maybe 9.
Let's say 8. Okay.
Ooh.
9 a.m. 9 a.m. Thanksgiving morning. We will be here live announcing the top 12 winners of the No Nonsense Challenge. And those people will be awarded some very exclusive limited edition pure swag. And I already know that somebody sitting next to me is very excited that he earned a spot in that category. So keep up the great work no matter where you are. And we will see you in the December challenge.